Hi, this is Steve Gilmore, and this is the Gilmore Gang. Welcome to starting in the frosty Northwest, the famous Mike Arrington. Welcome, Mike.
Yo.
All right, can hear you and everything. Also joining us on the phone from the frosty New York City is Dan Farber.
Hello, everyone.
How are you, Dan?
I'm well. It's a little bit toasty here, not very frosty, and I understand it's not very frosty in the Northwest. But I just saw a note from Mike that he's in Hawaii, so where is everyone?
I'm at the Dubai Ritz-Carlton, actually.
That figures. Going for a little bit of casino work.
Well, after his famous championing of Helen Thomas, I think that Dubai is probably a good place for you. And then joining us from San Francisco is John Toshak. Welcome, John.
Thanks, Steve. Good to be here again.
All right, and we will be joined by Kevin Marks, hopefully as soon as he's done. He's at NASA speaking and should hop on in a few minutes, or then again, not at all, as he was at Foo Camp. Mike, the last time I saw you on camera was briefly at the end of our FaceTime experiments at Foo Camp. Did you enjoy Foo Camp this year?
FaceTime? Yeah,
FaceTime is the Apple thing.
How do we have an experiment? I don't have an iPhone, so...
No, but Scoble did, and you were briefly on camera at the end of that.
Was that when I was throwing things at him?
Probably. We couldn't see that part. So, how was Foo Camp this year?
It was good. It's the same every year. It's just very, very, very good. It's Tim O'Reilly holds it every year. It is Sebastopol, which is Sonoma, California headquarters. Brings in about 300 people who are friends of him. It's what Foo stands for, Friends of O'Reilly, and people talk about whatever they want to. There's a blank grid up on the board with time on one side and places on another and another axis, and people go up and write down whatever they want to talk about, and then they group together based on that and have conversations. So there was one session on philosophy and technology that was fascinating. There's sessions on SEO that Matt Cutts, he ran one of those sessions. There's literally like 100 sessions, and you just go to whatever you want. And there's also a big party aspect at night that I used to take part in. Now I pretty much go home and go to bed. People stay up all night drinking around a bonfire as well. It's fun.
If there was a general theme, did you detect any kind of where the interest was moving this year?
The funny thing is when I'm there, I don't actually focus on the web and stuff so much. I actually try to look more at the other sessions that I don't know anything about. So sometimes, like last year, there was a biotech company there that I met and spent some time with. This year, I spent some time with a company called Samasource, which is it's sort of helping employ people in developing countries to work on the internet. And it's sort of a Mechanical Turk model, but slightly more interesting work and a lot better pay. And that's it. Stuff like that. A lot of off-the-record conversations as well.
Dan Farber, have you been at any interesting conferences in the last few months?
No conferences for me lately. Just kind of been busy just following up on the news trends. We've got oil spills, spies, economy, and all kinds of other things. And, of course, there is the World Cup.
I'm not familiar with the World Cup. What is that?
Oh, it's a sporting event around the world.
Right. As David Letterman says, that's the game where they have this secret amount of time left in the game that is known only to the referee.
That is true.
Yeah.
Makes for an even more exciting finish.
John Toshak, you're a fan of this alleged sport, correct?
It's the greatest sport in the world. There's nothing better than the World Cup. It's bigger than the Olympics. It generates billions in advertising. There's nothing better. And it's the final coming up on Sunday. And they'll have the third place finish on Saturday.
And who's
So
in
I
the
hope we can
final?
watch one of these games.
At the risk of
Well,
insulting major countries, who's in the final?
you are insulting both Spain and Holland,
Oh,
I thought it was over.
who are both.
I thought Spain won it all. How
I-
much
I-
longer is
Spain
this have
won
to go
the
on? Oh, man.
2 more days, and then the provincial attitudes will end.
well,
but,
Mike's already
uh,
knows the outcome. He gets the private feed where they send the game.
Yeah, the game actually took place last week. We filmed it on TechCrunch TV. We have the exclusive footage of it.
All right, now
It ended 1-0.
Let's play some bets. Who won?
Who gives a shit? It's soccer. I mean, seriously, it's like what you do when you're 10, right? I mean, that's what soccer is. Then you grow up and you do real sports. I don't get it. Never. Have.
What sport are you doing, Mike?
Here's another thing. Hey, fuck you, dude. That was uncalled for right there. I know where you're going with that, but the like all these people love soccer all of a sudden. They didn't love soccer like 3 months ago. Like what? Seriously, I mean, at least in Europe they stick with it. Here it's like, oh, we love soccer all of a sudden. Oh yeah, I've always loved soccer. No, it just it's the new thing, and it's not a fun sport.
It's kind of like hockey in the Olympics or something like that. To you?
I have issues with hockey too, because hockey's like kind of like soccer but on ice. I think if they
So
if they
LeBron
just,
LeBron and Twitter are more important than the World Cup to you? Is that? I mean, is it if we're going by popularity?
what is LeBron?
You're just like you're just talking, picking fights. Like first you suggest that that I don't play sports, and now you're just like saying somehow you're tying me to the LeBron and Twitter. Like, what's up with that?
Do you play sports?
No, I'm asking.
I mean, after I played for the Clippers in the '80s for 2 years, I mean, I mostly sat on the bench. That was it for me. So.
Well, you were in the box for fighting, I think, right?
Yeah. They drafted me in the second round. I had a couple good years. That was it.
Yeah, I don't really understand hockey either. I mean, it seems pretty pointless that the game, in quotes, consists of finding the most alcoholic rage maniacs that you can hire and then set them against each other over apparently no violations of any kind other than the coach telling them to go out and cut the guy's knees off from behind. Any comments?
I'm with you.
Okay, great. So, speaking of TechCrunch TV, how's that going?
Good. Launched, 2 weeks ago now? And separate site. It's TechCrunch.tv. We embed a lot of the videos into TechCrunch, of course. But it's awesome. We have a studio set up in our office, and people come in. We always have people in the office anyway. We can sit them down and do a short or long video interview. And I really like the medium, and advertisers really like it too. So it's a big new push for us. Events is part of our business. Written editorial will always be part of our business, of course. And now this is a third sort of leg of what we do, video.
I saw MG and what's his name, Jason. They seem to have these shows. Are they all short like that show? I mean, that was about 10 minutes. It seemed.
That's too long. We've done some analysis, and actually, aren't you still on Yammer with us, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit. Like, you quit, you go work at Salesforce or wherever, and like you're still like, we haven't. I guess we didn't take you off Yammer, so everything that's going on internally. You know all of our internal fights and bickering and the good times and the bad. I need to fix that. You know exactly what we're talking about. Then the videos are too long. I mean, you're just saying that big debate we had internally. No one likes watching videos after 5
Actually,
minutes.
I missed that debate, but I just noticed it. I've only watched one video. I watched about 30 seconds of Andrew Keene's show, but then I moved on, and
Then you stopped.
yeah.
Yeah, people. It seems like people were willing to watch 4 to 5 minutes of video. After that, it's hard to get them to stay, and so it might be just a waste of time to do longer stuff. But also, I mean, we just need to do a better job of editing and a better job of asking better questions, right? And just get to the point quickly. That's what people want.
But what I want to know is how come you're not on TechCrunch TV? I mean, aren't you the brand?
No, I'm not the brand. I just, I live up here in Seattle. I,
Well,
semi-retired.
We seem to have transcended that problem at the moment here. So, how come you're not doing this on TechCrunch TV?
You mean why am I not coming in via Skype video?
I think that it would be, I think people want to know what you're thinking and are up to.
Well, they do. I write about it all the time. When I'm in the office, which is sometimes, I'll be on video all the time. But being up here, it's just a bit of a hassle, and the quality isn't as good over Skype, and so I won't do it as much.
Okay. So, what do you think about this iPhone thing? Are you going to get one?
I think so. I'm not in a rush. I'm actually off to France tomorrow, and so I'm bringing my Nexus One, which is an unlocked phone, and I'll just put in a new SIM card there, and then point Google Voice to that phone number. Google Voice actually right now for most people doesn't allow you to forward to a non-US number, but they've turned that on for me, and so I can. It's a pretty nice situation. So
basically, it's
not in any rush to get
the
an iPhone.
service known as Google Voice, which for you actually has many features, but for nobody else on the planet works that way.
Well, it works that way for Google employees. I think they're testing it. The problem is it costs a lot. You're forwarding to a foreign mobile usually costs 20 cents a minute, and so I think that they'll have to charge for that eventually. Actually, they may charge me now. I don't know, but they're testing it. Just like I ported my phone number to Google, and I don't think that's been widely available yet. But they're sort of doing it in beta now. And the problem is it's really hard. It takes a couple days. You lose text messages. I think that they're worried about backlash if they were to launch it publicly. So,
Dan Farber, you're not in a rush either, are you?
No, I'm never in a rush.
But I mean, as far as getting an iPhone, you were there on the first day in New York.
Well, I have an iPhone, but I don't have the new one, and I'm surrounded by Apple stores, but I'm not feeling, urgent need to go out and get the new version.
So, you think FaceTime is an interesting product?
No.
Okay. There was also I saw somewhere a what's the name of it? Fring, which is a application on the iPhone which I have been unable to actually get to work due to the fact that somebody has registered with my name about 10,000 times, and it wasn't me, or else it was me, and I've never been able to get it to work. But it apparently supports a FaceTime-like video on over 3G in addition to Wi-Fi. I thought that was interesting. That would also allow you to talk to devices like what Mike has. And John Toshak, you have a Droid, correct?
Yeah, what you affectionately call the brick. I do have a Droid, and I support Mike that Google Voice is very, very nice on the Droid.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that. I'm just really trying to just find out when you and Dan and Mike are actually going to get the new iPhone so that I can have FaceTime conversations.
Are you asking if it's a compelling event to have FaceTime conversations with you, which will drive me to get an iPhone?
No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just asking when you're going to get an iPhone.
The company has offered to pay for it, and I'm still holding out. I'm not in a rush to get one right now.
All right.
Maybe later.
So these are the summer doldrums in terms of the technology industry.
Sure is.
What exactly, Mike, do you think is going to be interesting to you from a journalist perspective over the next month? Anything?
Over the next month?
Yeah. I mean, do you have anything to look forward to, since you evidently don't care about the iPhone?
The next thing I can think of that I'm looking forward to is seeing Chrome OS come out on actual devices. I don't think that's this month. And seeing how that sort of evolves, I think that's going to be interesting. I can't think of much else going on right now that I'm super excited about this month.
Why would you be excited about Chrome OS?
I think for the same reason that Android's interesting. It's a real shot at an open operating system that can compete with Windows, that's interesting. It'll be free or possibly even less than free in the sense of revenue sharing to device manufacturers. That's going to be really interesting seeing that stuff come out on tablets and also in other touchscreen devices. And also, Windows isn't very good on touchscreen devices yet, especially Windows 7 isn't really made for it. So we're seeing a delay in the launch of all those devices. If you want a competitor to the iPad, you're probably going to see it with Chrome OS.
Uh, Although they say that they're focusing first on netbooks rather than on tablets.
Um, I actually don't know if they have said that. I mean, I would assume they have if you say it, but it's absolutely optimized for touch devices, and so I would imagine very quickly we'll be seeing that. I think it's interesting that there are a lot of Android touch devices out there now too, but the ones I've tested I'm not real happy with. So,
Uh, Dan Farber, are you interested? Do you have an iPad?
No, I don't, but I have access to many.
Aren't you
Because
developing?
our application will be out this month.
And tell us a little bit about that. This is for CBS News online or for all CBS product?
Well, there's already a CBS iPad product, which is for the entertainment. The CBS News one, which I'm working on, includes CBSNews.com and then our television shows like 60 Minutes, and we're just trying to take advantage of the user interface and easier to navigate the stories and a richer experience of the stories and some integration of social networking. So it's a first version, but I think it'll be good enough.
What's your take, any of you, on Hulu Plus, the $9.95 version of television series that's going to be available on the iPad? Anybody want to mention or talk about that?
I've never really been a Hulu fan. I'm just not that much into the TV, but I can see a bunch of people, especially people who are starting to watch TV on devices rather than TV sets. I think they'll be interested in seeing anything that they missed on TV and paying a subscription. I just can't see it being overwhelmingly successful. The Netflix announcement, which I don't really know much about, but streaming the first-run movies and perhaps doing that on the iPad seems a little more interesting to me.
Well, it definitely works on the iPad. Netflix is one of the best apps on the iPad.
I agree. I'm not sure if they're going to stream the first-run movies in the same way.
It's not that they're streaming first-run movies. They signed a deal with an independent studio or a couple of independent studios. It's unlikely that the cartel is going to hand over to Netflix first-run movies in any great numbers. So I think that's overstated. Mike, what do you think about Hulu? Do you watch Hulu at all?
Yeah, sometimes. I actually have just got in the habit of downloading shows from iTunes. I like the on-demand. I like the fact they're just sort of loaded up and I can watch them whenever. Hulu's fine, but then you miss a week or two, and then they only have 5 shows back. I know they're going to try to fix that with the Hulu premium service. But I actually have been looking at Roku. Roku's sort of been lost in the shuffle a little bit, but I've heard a lot of good things about it lately. It's a box that lets you sort of stream stuff on demand that seems to be getting some traction. I think they have 700,000 boxes out there being used right now. You can rent movies from Amazon, and I think Netflix is hooked up to it. So if you have Netflix, you can watch the movies that Netflix streams, although their selection often isn't very good. But I'm actually thinking about canceling cable and maybe not using iTunes anymore and going with Roku. In fact, it also has really nice music integration. You can listen to Pandora and some other services, and that's what I'm looking at right now. Hulu to me is sort of like, if I'm in a hotel and I have nothing stored in iTunes and I'm really bored, I'll go on Hulu and try to find something to watch, but that's it.
So you don't like the fact that on iTunes you can get pretty much the closest to release programs? I mean, for example, I missed Damages, which I enjoy it's a FX series that somehow I missed before it scrolled off on Comcast. And I just went, for the first time, I went up there on iTunes and downloaded the first 2 shows. It's like $3 a show, so it's a little expensive. but you just can't beat it on the iPad sitting there. You can. It's just it's an incredible form factor.
Cool.
Yeah. So the question I have is whether I mean there's a lot of noise I think about how the web and free and all of that is going to be successful, but it seems to me that we're moving in the direction of a lot of content that's going to be paid, and that it's going to be successful. Time magazine just pulled their data behind a firewall. I noticed you laughing. Why? Are you dissing the credibility of the venerable Newsweekly?
Well, look, I mean, if you've got like a show like, I don't know, what's a good show, like 30 Rock, right? And in 30 Rock, you can either watch it on broadcast television with commercials when they tell you to. None of us do that anymore. Or you can pay 99 cents and download it on iTunes or whatever, have it on demand. Or you can, sorry about that. Or you can go to a BitTorrent site and download it for free, but there's some hassle and potential malware involved. I mean, most of us are just sort of leaning towards let's just pay the 99 cents, and it's sort of, who cares, especially when you have to enter your credit card information each time. That's one thing. You talk about content online. I mean, okay, Time has great content, sort of, sometimes. Sometimes it's not so great.
Well, I don't know if it has it at all, but
it's not like the 30. Right? They don't own like 30 Rock of content. Like it's like no one else does 30 Rock, right? There's no, unless you're stealing it, you're not going to be able to get 30 Rock for free. But I would argue that the content on Time is duplicated or even better in other places and for free. And so, unless everyone, which isn't going to happen, on the internet decided to start charging for content, and the only way you could read anything interesting on the internet was by paying. That isn't going to happen, obviously. I don't see how any one player could start charging.
Well, but then that would suggest that.
Go ahead.
I mean, that would suggest that Hulu isn't going to work, and it would suggest that Netflix isn't ultimately going to be stable because it's too old, the content's too old, et cetera, et cetera. But that doesn't necessarily follow with what's going on. I mean, Netflix is growing, but I mean, it has some sort of market. I forget what the number is, but it's got a significant value these days.
Well, no, Steve, I think there are two discussions. One is you're talking about digital video content and music. I think that's one bucket. I think and if you look at TV.com, at CBS, you look at Hulu. I think there are ways that they could have a viable business if the TV studios allow it. On the other side, though, you have written content, and I think that's a whole other discussion. I wouldn't bucket them together.
Okay, so you're saying that basically free works in written, and there are a variety of things that work on video.
Well, I think there's an argument as to whether TV shows and movies and over the long run can continue to charge for their shows. I think that's a question that's still up in the air, and I suspect the answer is yes. I think that music is a really tough one. I don't know how music goes anywhere but free. And one of the reasons is with movies and TV shows, you tend to watch them once. Sometimes with movies, you'll watch them over and over again. But for the most part, it's that first viewing. With music, the first listen actually isn't all that important. It's the fact that you want to listen to that song over and over again. And the songs we love we'll listen to thousands of times during our lifetime. It's really hard to monetize that, I think. It's really hard, given how easy it is to transfer a file, to stop people from having that file on their desktop and stealing it effectively.
Well, I saw the other day that Lady Gaga, just to support your music theories, which I usually don't, but Lady Gaga made $58 million last year. And it sure as hell wasn't on her record sales.
Yeah, well, there are these deals that the music labels, especially Warner, are pushing now called 360 music deals, which is, in the old days, it used to be that, I believe, I'm not an expert in this area, but that the labels would own the master recording, which is the actual recording of a song. They own that outright, and they could market it, and then they had a deal to do, give money back to the artist for that. Today, what the rights they seem to be pushing for on all new artists are 360 as in 360 degrees. So
Right.
basically any money that they make from their music, whether it's concerts, it's hat or t-shirt sales, it's ringtones, it's just everything. Basically, the label gets a cut of that. And I think that's a much smarter way to go for the labels to start looking at the music, the recorded music, as little more than a marketing device, not as something to sell. The way that music videos first were used in the 80s with MTV. MTV wasn't charged for them. They used them to sell albums. And I think that ultimately recorded music, you can't charge for it. And what you want is people listening to it for free. And you want as many people listening to it for free as you can, which will drive up the charts.
Right. And Lady Gaga has, my daughter is very amused by the fact that I think Lady Gaga is fantastic. So she regularly brings her friends home. I'm sort of like an exhibit in a zoo where she brings me into the room and puts on these videos, and then her friends giggle that I think it's great. And then she charges for that. No, seriously. She does charge me. She says, "Can I have money for food?" And then she leaves and we never see her again.
So she plays Lady Gaga videos for you in front of her friends, and then they're entertained by your reaction to it?
That's correct. But the underlying point is...
What's your reaction to it?
What is my reaction? I think she's amazing. I think that since the Beatles, she's pretty much it.
Oh, so she's the new Beatles.
No, the new Beatles are Ringo and Paul, who are on stage, and they're on YouTube, by the way, the other night at Radio City Music Hall, and they sounded great.
Bebo's got an interesting business, huh? They've got all these music videos locked up.
Mick Jagger's
so I'm just
70
checking out this
today.
Lady Gaga person you keep talking about.
Well, at your TechCrunch Disrupt conference, you had her manager, so I think you actually know more than you're letting on to.
This is maybe the next Madonna. This isn't the next Beatles. Sorry, Steve.
No. She made $4 million more last year than Madonna.
Oh, so quality music is defined by how much money they make.
No, it's quantified by the fact that she has something like 1.5 billion views of her videos, none of which does she make any money
so it's popularity. It's popularity.
No, I think that it's actually the music. My point would be that if you want to listen to Lady Gaga, you don't have to pay for it.
Chronicles.
Sorry?
You should read a book called The Bob Dylan Chronicles. There's some amazing artists over the years, but...
The Bob Dylan Chronicles? Are you talking about Chronicles 1, his autobiography?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It came out a few years ago. It's amazing. And there's some amazing
Yeah, I think
artists.
I recommended it to you as the best business book of that year.
And yet here you are telling me that Lady Gaga is more important than Bob Dylan musically because she's up there with the Beatles, who are the greatest artists ever.
Bob Dylan and the Beatles are Bob Dylan and the Beatles, and Lady Gaga is right in there with him.
Number 2.
Tied. Top three.
Top 3.
Well, considering that half the Beatles are dead, she's got a leg up there.
So once you die, you're no longer like you start. I mean,
well, you can still. John Lennon's made a lot more money than either Lady Gaga or Bob Dylan last year.
Are you drunk today? Have you been drinking? Like, you're the guy that usually is talking about the music. It's over. And this is back in the '40s. It was the best ever. And now suddenly Lady Gaga, who looks like a Madonna to me, and sounds like Madonna, is suddenly like the greatest musical talent ever to be on Earth.
You know how you're known for sort of unwrapping the mysteries of technology and telling people where they're going to go in a couple of weeks when they get a clue? Well, I'm telling you about Lady Gaga in the same way. She's
heard it here first.
Well, you actually if you read her interview in Rolling Stone, our national newspaper. Hello, General McChrystal. Then you'll see that she's really smart, and she's 24 years old.
Steve, you have a crush on Lady Gaga.
I do, absolutely.
Oh my God, is Tina there?
Tina has a crush on her too. So that's the other secret. She's very androgynous. There have been many stories about whether she's in fact a hermaphrodite or not. That, however, is not what I find attractive.
Lady Gaga,
hermaphrodite. Yeah, it's a trending topic. Okay, Dan. Any comments on this?
Yes.
This is better than oil spill stuff, isn't it?
Well, I think Miss Gaga is just fine. She's a nice lady. Does nice, good work.
Has Katie
It's not
Couric
clear she's a
talked to her?
lady.
She is a lady.
There's a bulge. When I did my search for Lady Gaga hermaphrodite, I've now taken to a picture of what appears to be a bulge of some sort between her legs. That was a quote.
Oh, that I don't know, but just when you say Lady Gaga
Yeah.
and the Beatles in the same breath,
You know,
and Bob Dylan in the same breath, I kind of say, well, let's give her a little more runway
well, she's going to have to keep up the good work, but
for the next 40
when the Beatles
years,
were
yeah.
24, they were doing Help.
Lady Gaga denied rumors that she was a hermaphrodite
That's
to
right.
Barbara Walters. So there you have it.
Who is? So there you go.
But there is question about Barbara Walters, however.
You are drinking
No, that's
today.
not. That is not nice.
I'm sorry, but it's my show. So speaking of the oil crisis, John, can you tell the viewers about the Salesforce website that's supporting ideas about how to save
Is
the
this a
planet?
commercial?
No,
Is this
it's
a commercial
I,
part of the
I
show?
would like to support this effort. It's an interesting effort.
So you're going to be like Jim Gray.
Who's Jim Gray?
Well, Jim Gray is the person who interviewed LeBron James last night.
Who's LeBron James?
He's married to Lady Gaga.
Well, he didn't go with the Knicks or the Nets, so as far as I'm concerned, who cares?
Okay.
Is oil
Now
spill
let's
still
hear
is
about
going
this
on? Have they even
fantastic-
slowed down the oil spill yet?
What?
This oil spill, have they even slowed it down yet? The only thing I
they've
know
been
about this is what
capturing
I see on the
somewhat.
Daily Show.
Well, they're claiming they're going to cap it on Monday, 100%.
So they got that taken care of. I was really
Yeah,
hoping
all
they'd
done.
nuke it. I was really hoping for that. I thought that would be
Really?
interesting
On
to see.
Monday, the New York Times said something about by the end of the month.
No, this
That all
is
the
from
oil will be
today's
gone?
news
Like it'll
that
finally have
the,
run out of oil?
Yeah, we're going to
the
switch over
commander
to...
says that they will replace the leaky containment cap on the well with a tighter one beginning on Saturday, and hopefully by Monday, 100% of the oil will be contained. But
Awesome.
who knows if that will work?
Okay, well, I think we've
But
exhausted...
let's. I really want to go back to Salesforce.com and what a wonderful job they're doing.
in what way?
I don't know. You were going to go there, so I'm.
No, I
hoping
was
you
I
get
was
back
talking
there.
about a website that has been put up to encourage contributions of ideas on things to do about the situation as far as the oil spill is concerned, and there's some sort of URL which I don't have in front of me, but
Yeah, it's Gulf Crisis 2010.
and what does it do? It uses some sort of Salesforce ideas technology or something in order to pull these things together.
Exactly, it's trying to crowdsource to get as many people bring as many ideas to the table to help solve the crisis in any way they can. And with the ideas technology, you can promote or demote ideas. So theoretically, the best ideas would bubble up to the top, and it's made public, and it's also made free through the Salesforce Foundation on just helping clean up the mess and stop further other events like this from happening in the future. So it's Salesforce put out a press release a few days ago on it. It's gotten a lot of traction so far. Again, anyone can go onto it. It's we're not charging for it or anything. It's Gulf Crisis
And
2010.
you just put it out.
Yes, we put it out 3 days ago. I've been on jury duty for the last month, so my timing's a little off. But I believe we put it out on Tuesday.
So you're only about 80 days late.
Yes, that's true. But
It
we're
depends on
80
how long
days
this
ahead
goes
of
for.
BP.
This is cool. Actually, I like this because it's not the government doing it. I mean, I think that this is a great thing to do. I'm on the site now. It's gulfcrisis2010.com. But it reminds me of a post I wrote in May, when sort of in the early days of the spill, about Central Command, which is like it's like a joint effort between the government and BP and a bunch of other people, and they like twittered out like that they twittered out. What did they say? It was like submit alternative tech ideas to stop leaking, and it was just great. It was just like our government asking people on Twitter to please let them know how to stop the oil spill. I found that to be pretty funny. But this is different. This is cool. It just would be embarrassing for BP and the government to have to see this kind of thing going on.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is that as opposed to Twitter, this is, which is trackable. These are, you can vote on the ideas so that it is, you can see that, again, the best ideas would bubble up to the top. It's not just a great idea getting buried in the bottom somewhere. We're doing it, and we're putting it out there, and we're seeing what kind of traction we're done. We've done a lot of things with Red Cross, for example, with the Hurricane Katrina. So, we've done a few other things with natural disasters and Indonesia and things like that too.
I'm voting up the nuclear option. Where is that? It's
What?
Are you serious? There's actually a nuclear option on there.
Yep, there it is. It's has 90 points. It's actually near the leaderboard. It's on the they're here on the site, and it talks about the physics of it, and it has 90 points, and I'm voting it up. I think I have to register. Yep, I'm gonna have to register, but I'm gonna do that. And if we get enough votes, does that mean that they will in fact nuke the Gulf Coast?
Well,
or is this? Does you have a contract or anything like an agreement? Or
these
I
are
love the
ideas
top one is make BP pay. So like the top solution is just take all their money.
You're not in favor of that, right?
I think this is normally as somebody who studies economics and generally speaking likes the free markets, I would say no. But in a situation that is just so horrendous like this, I just don't even know. I think it's be perfectly fine to liquidate BP and put them out of business. It certainly would make it clear to other companies what the consequences can be to screwing up this big.
You mean like the Republican Party, that they might reconsider their platform of drill, baby, drill?
Yeah. Yeah, Steve. All the ills of the world are caused by a single group of people who make decisions that are evil, and the other political party is of course good and human and empathetic to the plight of us as human beings. And you finally figured it out.
Who are you calling pathetic?
I said empathetic.
Oh, I
but
know.
the funny thing is that, like, listening to you and my dad, because you and my dad, I've seen you guys debate, are polar opposites and everything. But you say the same things, you just take the opposite positions. I mean, my dad really believes that the Democrats want to kill the earth, and you really believe the Republicans have this like secret agenda where they.
It's not secret. It was on their platform.
Fuck it. What we really want to do is we want to kill the earth. Like, we don't care about people. We just want to kill the earth. And that's just the dogmatism is always fun. Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't need to. The resonance around what you just said will suffice. I mean, they ran on the platform. I mean, which of the two candidates, one said drill, baby, drill, and the other said he didn't say that.
Again, Steve, my knowledge of this is limited mostly to watching The Daily Show, but my understanding is that part of the reason they were drilling in very, very deep water was because of restrictions on drilling in less deep water.
Well, what's the Daily Show position?
That it's fucked up. It's funny to see Jon Stewart going so hard after Obama on this and other issues.
Really?
The honeymoon is over. It's funny. There's a ad on TechCrunch right now. It says BP spill, blame Obama. Vote here now.
I'm going to go there and vote right now.
It's Obama's Katrina.
Really?
According to the site, that newsmax.com.
All right. I'm going to wrap this one up, but I want to go around the table one more time and ask, is there anything other than getting a new iPhone that is exciting to any of us in the next few weeks or a month or so? Or are we just basically going to coast into whatever new features for the iPhone become available? I'll start with Dan Farber.
The only thing that I look forward to would be 4G everywhere.
Have you actually experienced 4G?
Yeah, I've had a little taste of it occasionally with a Sprint card and an iPad.
What do you have? What Sprint card?
Well, it's got a wireless Sprint hotspot that you can carry around.
What's that
And if
called?
you're in a 4G, I don't know what it's called, but if you're in a 4G area, it'll pick that up and you can really fly.
Yeah, I'm pretty much convinced that I'm going to drop my AT&T USB port adapter and go with that device. Do you have any idea what the name of it actually is? Is it in your pocket now?
No, it's not. It's at home, but it's cheap, and I think it's $30 and $20 a month.
Really? Oh, that sounds fantastic. And of course, what that allows you to do is to be able to use FaceTime wherever you are, which I think is exciting.
What's this obsession with FaceTime? What do you want to
Since
look
you
at?
haven't tried
or why
it,
you're-
I mean, this is the dance of the ignorant. The only one who's tried it is me and Scoble, and it works
Hey,
great.
Steve, would your ultimate goal in life, like you've sort of done it all now, would be to have a FaceTime conversation with Lady Gaga?
That wouldn't be bad. I mean, there are very few people. I mean, Bob Dylan, I wouldn't mind having a FaceTime
Oh,
conversation with.
I had a great idea. Okay, so you work now for Salesforce because you quit at TechCrunch, and you have this.
Actually, it was the other way
budget
around,
for-
but go on.
Oh, you mean I fired you? I fired you the day you called me to say I have some tough news for you. You said, no.
We've all seen the video, Mike.
Mike, I need you to have a tough conversation.
Traitor.
I
Traitor.
love exactly. I love going to Mike Arrington interviews of David Kirkpatrick and being the subject of the first 10 minutes of the discussion.
But you guys. So wait, back to my point. So you
Yeah.
guys, Salesforce, big company, lots of money, like more money than God. Why don't you just subtly I don't know, push the marketing department to get her as a Salesforce spokesperson and start doing ads and maybe you could somehow say and maybe we should have this social media guru guy be in the ads as well, and then there could be this whole string of Mac versus PC ads, or be you and Lady Gaga.
John, didn't I
This-
tell you
this
that Arrington would cough up all the ideas?
These are good ideas.
Yeah, they
I think,
are.
we have to-
Stevie Wonder's going to be at Dreamforce, so
Now, is Stevie Wonder more talented or less talented than
Stevie
say,
Wonder. No,
Lady Gaga 3 years ago?
they're equally talented.
Is the fact that
And Stevie Wonder is the
blind
greatest living
and
musician.
almost dead, because he's getting pretty old, and you said that as you die you lose your value as an artist. Does that mean that the fact that he's blind and almost
No,
dead
no,
actually
I said nothing of the sort. I said that John Lennon's made more money this year than any of these so-called living artists.
if Lady Gaga wasn't as hot as she was, would she be more or less talented as an artist?
She is as talented as Stevie Wonder, which is saying a lot. She's 24 years
Yeah.
old. She plays piano. She's a great writer. She wrote all the songs on her record. She's written another record, which she's not even going to release until next year. She's a force. I mean, she's unbelievable. This is what, cue Naomi's friends giggling. See?
She's
You want to see my puppies before we go?
reading about her drug addiction.
Whose drug addiction?
Lady Gaga. I'm sure.
No,
it's
that's not true.
just some site. I just downloaded the new Eminem album. I thought that was pretty good.
It sounds pretty good. He's got a lot of actual music on it.
Yeah.
And you got that on iTunes?
Dude, I did. I thought about it. I'm like, fuck, I just bought it on iTunes. I was like, I could go download it somewhere, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it. It's easier. It's $10 or whatever. I just bought it. There it was.
Once you get over 40, everything changes.
Now, he might be, do you think that he is as talented as, half of a Lady Gaga? Is he, in the top 100 artists of all time? Or
He's
is the fact that he's not a woman? Or where's he sort of fall?
He's pretty amazing, but I wouldn't put him up there. I would put him in the top 100, maybe.
But it comes down to the Beatles, Bob Dylan, and Lady Gaga.
And Stevie Wonder. I mean, Steely Dan's great, too. But, not quite in the same.
I always get them mixed up with Chicago. Their music, I can never tell. Is that right?
Oh, really?
And what about Pink Floyd? Like Pink Floyd's the one band from
They
that
were
era
great.
that I really, really
They-
like still.
They were great. Well, they were. Did you see their reunion? That was fantastic.
No.
Yeah, they had a reunion, and then the keyboard player died. So that's it for reunions. Although, you know, I'm telling you, the Beatles sounded great the other night. I was really surprised. They had Joe Walsh playing the George Harrison part, and nobody played the George Martin keyboard solo. They did "Birthday." It's really a good track. There are about 20 versions of it, you know, for all these camera phones. Somebody should cut together, you know, like a one take of it.
I'll get right on
Okay, good show. See you.
Okay.
that. Go see the puppy.
I want to thank. Oh, you don't want to see the puppies?
Yeah,
You
show
have
the
puppies?
puppies.
I do.
That's always a crowd
Can you
pleaser.
bring them in?
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
Just focus on you for a second, and you talk for a minute.
All right. So Dan Farber, interested in a puppy?
Not right now, thanks.
Oh, so you're trying to get rid of the puppies?
No, no. My children have made it clear that we're not getting rid of any of them.
How many?
How many are there?
3. We adopted for a day a dog who subsequently we found out on her last day of freedom had been impregnated. And here they are. All right.
Here's the phone.
And you had no idea what the father was.
No.
No,
So what came out? Let's see.
I'm carefully looking at the size of the feet because it could be anything from
What kind of dog is the female?
Some sort of chihuahua.
some sort of Chihuahua mix. Do you see
Ugh.
this?
So it could be a Rottweiler Chihuahua mix.
That's not a Chihuahua, man.
A Chihuahua.
Exactly.
What is that?
Okay, so that's the fat one, as she is lovingly called.
Okay. wait.
She was number 3 to be born, correct?
She was reach.
This
What
is
in
the
world
boy.
Is that thing?
Whoops, sorry. This is the boy.
Isn't he cute?
He's.
Come on, ooh and ah.
I've named him Rufus, but it's not going to stick. It's going to be
Rufus.
Bear, I think, or
Teddy bear.
Teddy
Like Ru-
Bear, some sort of cute estrogen-filled name.
Air.
Bear, yeah, I
God,
like
that's an ugly
Rufus.
dog. Puppies are. It's almost impossible to see an ugly puppy. That is an ugly puppy right there.
Oh.
I thought that I would be immune to the Arrington curse because these aren't cats, but evidently I was wrong. And this one is the other one. Do you hear that sound?
Yeah. It
It's
sounds like Gizmo. Don't
Hear
feed
that?
it after midnight.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
See you, Mike.
Ciao.
Thanks, Dan.
That's a cute dog.
And thanks, John. This is Steve Gilmore. This has been Gilmore Gang. I want to thank everybody who showed up. And I want to thank particularly Rackspace and Rob Legess, without whom this show would not exist again, and NewTek and their fabulous TriCaster, without which we would not be on video. I want to thank everybody who showed up, and especially those who didn't. And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.